So here's why AI is crashing crypto. China has basically undercut the entire US tech industry in just one day. You've heard of ChatGPT and OpenAI. Well, it costs US tech companies over $500 billion to make. But in less than 2 months, a Chinese company launched a direct competitor called DeepSeek. And this cost them only $5.5 million. It cost the US $500 billion and China only $5.5 million. DeepSeek is 50 times more powerful than ChatGPT. It's entirely free and is now trending as #1 on the App Store, surpassing ChatGPT. This completely dismantles ChatGPT and OpenAI and all the plans for US tech investors to make billions of dollars off of OpenAI. As a result, the Nasdaq is crashing. Nvidia is down more than 13% today, erasing $500 million of market value, along with many other tech stocks. And since Bitcoin is tightly correlated with the Nasdaq, there's no surprise that the price of Bitcoin is crashing. And since Bitcoin drives the entire crypto market, of course, all other cryptocurrencies are going to come crashing down too.
This was a great explanation of what is happening right now. It is basically DeepSeek AI launching and basically annihilating every chance of US companies making a breakthrough through AI. Let's hear what Trump has to say about this.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said, you have the most brilliant scientists in the world in Seattle and various places. But Silicon Valley, they said, there's nobody like those people. This is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas. We're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution under the Trump administration.
So, basically, the United States has no chance to compete with this free, open source Chinese AI model. And they have to innovate and invest a lot more if they want to do much more. But keep in mind that this DeepSeek company is a Chinese company and that it is collecting all of your data and giving all of your data to the Chinese government, the CCP. Even if they are more technology advanced, there are many, many risks to using it right there.
You know, the Chinese labs, they have more H100s than people think. You know, these
are the highest powered NVIDIA chips that they were not supposed to have.
Yes. My understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about, obviously, because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place. And I think it is true that, you know, I think they have more chips than other people expect, but also on a go-forward basis, they are going to be limited by the chip controls and the export controls that we have in place. You know,
exactly. So not all is lost. It is still completely dependent on NVIDIA to run their technology. And without NVIDIA, they couldn't do anything, even if the technology is much more advanced. Let's hear what you have to keep in mind.
We're going to have to talk about this thing called DeepSeek, which is a brand new artificial intelligence model coming out of China. There's tons of American investors that are crying on the internet, stocks are crashing, and people think that the entire AI industry may be at risk. But here's the thing. Rather than complaining, we need more American technologists competing in the market. Let me explain. First of all, you're going to hear a lot of people say that DeepSeek, which claims to have been built by about 200 employees for less than $6 million, is lying. Maybe they are, or maybe they're not. You know what American companies need to do? Build better models. Then you're going to hear a bunch of people complain about the fact that China is using chips that may have violated export conditions, or that they trained this model off of US frontier models, or that the fact that this Chinese company may actually be bringing data back into China. American companies must build better models. See, here's the thing. Everyone thought that the American businesses and the American technologists had a free walk. We simply were going to build the models that we built and the rest of the world was going to follow suit. This should be a national priority. The United States government should put whatever money it takes to ensure that the United States is the leader in artificial intelligence. Every technologist with the capabilities, experience, and skill set in order to push the frontier of innovation in the US should immediately drop whatever they're doing and focus their time and energy in order to make sure that America is the winner. Because in this world, there is going to be a big winner. And ultimately, what we are watching play out right now is that the American companies thought they were in the lead. China has come out of nowhere, and now they're in the lead. And so America, if we want to get back on top, We have to build better models. We have to empower entrepreneurs, and we have to make sure that we have the capital available to ensure that the United States of America is the winner.
This is what you have to keep in mind right there. We need to compete. We need to come out first. We need to do better than the Chinese if we want to compete in this business. Otherwise, we are doomed.
What's your assessment of the extent to which there's a leap here that is noticeable?
Absolutely, there's a technical leap, but you have to be able to look past what the Chinese companies and Chinese media are saying. Alexander Wang of Scale AI insists that they have far more GPUs or graphic processing units to train the AI than they say. Many are speculating that there was a lot more resources and investment put into it than what we're hearing. But either way, it does, that is in many ways cope. The technical specs are objective. And so it appears that even if they built off of the AIs built from massive investments in U.S. infrastructure, they've still done it. And it's a huge wave. They also just put out Janus, which is a multimodal AI that does visual AI generation. And then you also have exactly like right on the back of it, and it's obviously coordinated, Quinn from Alibaba, which is a visual system that also they claim is agentic. So this is a massive wave. If you consider the economic competition to be warfare, this is an enormous attack.
Exactly. This is all of what you have to keep in mind right there. That the end is near for American company if we don't innovate, if we don't invest, if we don't try and do better. We are gonna get overwhelmed by the Chinese. They are gonna surpass everything that we know in technological advancement, and we don't want it to be.
So Margaret Brennan joins us from Washington. Margaret, Sputnik moment, or is that a little overhyped?
Well, it could be a Sputnik moment or a shot across the bow. All of it matters, John and Maurice, because the U.S. and China are in an arms race when it comes to AI. Former President Biden said it's the most consequential technology of all time, possibly, and it poses profound risks. So this technological leap made by China's DeepSeek using inferior computer chips at a cost 20 to 30 times less than leading American firms really got the attention of CEOs and investors that I've spoken with today, who think this could drive more urgency among companies to innovate. If the technology is lower cost, more people may use it. And President Trump's AI czar said today, we can't be complacent. We know the last administration tried to keep America's edge in this space by banning high-tech chips from being sold to China. So news that a Chinese firm claims they did all of this with basic computer chips does raise national security concerns.
And what are those national security implications, Margaret? How do we expect the Trump White House to respond here?
We don't know yet, Maurice. I have spoken to U.S. policymakers who are always skeptical about believing what any Chinese firm claims because of the tight Communist Party control of industry. So they're not completely convinced DeepSeek is being honest when they claim they achieved a breakthrough on their own. But in terms of risk, a CEO I spoke with today joked DeepSeek makes TikTok look like Sesame Street, meaning the U.S. is trying to ban that social media app TikTok because of evidence that its owner can and will siphon up information about Americans and use it to control and shape information that they consume. So DeepSeek could do the same in the AI space. And at this hour, millions of Americans have downloaded it. So keep in mind here, Chinese law requires companies to assist in intelligence gathering if it is requested by their government.
Okay, Margaret Brennan tonight in Washington. Thank you.
If you want to use DeepSeek, you have to keep that in mind. Your privacy is at risk. You're basically transferring your data to China if you use it.
All right, well, the market's lost in deep thought over DeepSeek's claims that it built an AI model in just a couple of months for less than $6 million. Not a B, $1 million. It's a tiny fraction of what U.S. companies are spending on artificial intelligence build-out. Most of the pressure is hitting NVIDIA, as Kelly points out. But Scale AI CEO Alexander Wang told Squawk Box just last week from Davos that the Chinese startup has more NVIDIA chips than it's willing to admit.
My understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about, obviously, because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place. And I think it is true that, I think they have more chips than other people expect, but also on a go-forward basis, they are going to be limited by the chip controls and the export controls that we have in place.
All right, so with that in mind, are the doubts around the AI trade justified, or is today's sell-off just a buying opportunity for some of these names? Joining us for more is Dan Ives, the Global Head of Technology Research at Wedbush. Also here with us for the whole hour is Nancy Tengler, CEO and Chief Investment Officer at Laffer Tengler Investments. Thank you both for being here with us right now. Let's talk about, Dan, the epicenter of all of this. And you've been a notable bull on many of these companies, many of the technologies that are at the center of the meltdown today. Does this worry you?
I mean, in my view, it's a top 3 buying opportunity that I've seen in the last decade for tech. And the reason I'm saying that, I spent the whole weekend talking to tech executives, CIOs, individuals that I know that are going down the sort of AI arms race or going through use cases. In no way of really 25 companies does this change their sort of plans, and a lot of these could be 7, 8, even upper 8-figure type budgets. I just continue to view this as it's a model, and a lot of the details I think still need to be vetted out in terms of 6 million. Do they actually have the H100s, how they actually built it? But this is something we're going to look back on, and I think the street and the market got this way wrong. In no way does it dent our bull thesis. So that's what we've been telling clients really since the weekend. These are the times you own these names.
Dan.
I agree. I think this is a great buying opportunity for any tech company, honestly, that is down today. I think the market did autocorrect recently, right there. Basically, these companies were kind of overvalued. But now the market is already also overreacting, I think, to the news. I think to run basically a language model, an AI model, you need chips, you need electricity, you need a ton of different technology, chips and microchip and computers, and memory cards, and motherboards, and hard drives, and GPUs. All of this is needed to run an AI company, and basically the AI model is basically the basis for any AI company, honestly. So, basically, these companies are gonna go to the green very, very soon. People are gonna realize that this news of DeepSeek launching right there, right now, is not so terrible. People are gonna think that Trump is gonna invest in the economy, is gonna invest into AI company in the United States, and probably some other technological company, maybe Meta, maybe OpenAI, maybe Google, is gonna come up with some new model, some new technological advancement that is probably gonna be also very, very competitive. So I'm not so sure that the tech sector in the United States is completely doomed over this news. I think it is a wake-up call, just like Trump said, that we have to wake up, we have to realize that the Chinese are competing and they are very good and they are investing a lot in new technology. And if we want to stay on top, if we want to stay competitive, if you don't want the Chinese to ruin our economy and be much more advanced than we are, in case of any kind of trade wars or conflict, we need to do more. We need to invest more, we need to work harder, we need to be smarter and focus on the right things. And then we will be able to come out. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here as always. And click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye-bye.